Right now, a high school student sits in their bedroom asking an AI chatbot to help draft an essay or prep for tomorrow's exam. This single student represents a global shift documented in the 2026 AI Index report. Released by Stanford University, the data shows that 4 out of 5 high school and college students are now using artificial intelligence for their schoolwork. The rates are even higher in university settings, hitting 90% in the United States and reaching 95% in the United Kingdom. Almost every student in these systems is now using these tools. They are relying on these models for research, brainstorming, and editing, the activities at the core of how schools assess learning. Yet most students receive no instruction on how to evaluate the accuracy of the output or how to disclose its use. They are navigating a powerful educational technology entirely on their own because the institutions responsible for their learning have yet to produce a coherent policy to guide them. This visual funnel illustrates the current breakdown in the U.S. system. While half of middle and high schools have some form of AI policy, look at the bottom sliver. Only 6% of teachers say those policies are actually clear. In South Africa, the policy gap is even wider. Neither the Department of Basic Education nor the Department of Higher Education and Training has published a national AI education policy or issued binding guidelines. This has left universities to act in isolation. You see individual institutions taking small, uncoordinated steps, drafting isolated guidelines or short programs, but they lack a shared national framework to ensure consistency. This line chart shows an anomaly identified in the Stanford report. Since 2022, South Africa's engineering-focused AI skills have grown much faster than broad AI literacy. By focusing on technical skills for a narrow elite, while the broader education system remains ungoverned, the country risks leaving the majority of students behind. This contrasts sharply with the international landscape, where several nations are integrating AI literacy into their core national curricula. China and the UAE have both mandated AI education, starting with the 2025-26 school year, shifting from optional enrichment to formal national-level instruction. The UAE is deploying 1,000 specially trained teachers to cover AI fundamentals and ethics, while India and Singapore are rolling out computational thinking as early as grade 3. These policies treat AI literacy as a foundational skill, on par with reading and mathematics. They are building a workforce that can use these tools critically and effectively. These nations are moving forward because they have calculated that the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of imperfect early intervention. The immediate result is a crisis of accountability. If the system assesses learning through essays and research, but those tasks are being shaped by ungoverned AI, the entire framework of educational assessment no longer reflects reality. This policy vacuum will follow students as they move from the classroom into the workforce. Employers will see a clear difference in capability between a graduate who was taught to use AI within a critical framework and one who used it simply to replace the learning process. The data shows a clear pattern. AI adoption is accelerating while the governance systems around it are still catching up. In the end, the absence of policy is not a neutral position. It is a decision with consequences that will be measured in the capability and literacy of an entire generation.